Good morning and welcome to Where Entrepreneurs Thrive. My name is Russ Nolting. On this week's episode, we have Shad and Claudine Phillips. We're going to be discovering how they became the entrepreneurs that we see today and what makes them thrive. Shad, Claudine, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Let's dive right in. So tell us your story, how you got into real estate and how you found your way to KW.
I'll let you start with, because your journey's longer than mine.
So let's see, in 2004, I became an agent in Texas and was mainly a buyer's agent in Texas for 10 years. And then when we moved to Colorado, I really just wanted to take a break because I had babies and I just wanted to be present with them and invest in them. And then also I was like, everybody knew me and I just wanted to move somewhere where nobody knew me for a little while, bleach my hair blonde, call myself Cindy, like just call it a day, you know? And so
Yeah.
Shad's like, well, I'm going to pick up that baton. And so he got his license as he was still doing his full-time job. And then I'll let him tell that story, but he continued to grow the business and then was like, either I'm going to hire an agent or you're welcome to come join me. And so that's how I joined in with him.
Got it.
Yeah. So 2008, I got into real estate and my background was marketing. And so I felt like that was a strength that I had and that I could really parlay a lot of my digital marketing experience into real estate, because I felt as I looked at the landscape, especially in my marketplace, I didn't see a lot of agents taking advantage of all of these channels that were just wide open. And so I was like, this is easy pickings, you know? And so I just got to work for the first 3 years. I mean, I wasn't worried about production at all. I was building a machine that was going to be a lead generator. I'm sorry?
Oh, you were building a machine. Yeah. Okay.
I was building a machine. Yeah. That was going to generate leads. And then all of a sudden, like I went from doing I think I was doing like $1 million in transactions the first 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then year 3 to 4 popped and, just the leads started pouring in and haven't stopped. And so we worked on our websites, YouTube presence. Claudine was actually kind of in the background doing some of the social media even then to kind of just begin to lay the framework for that. And so did I answer all of your question?
Absolutely. Tell us, how did you guys find your way to KW? And Claudine, I don't know, when you started in Texas, were you a KW agent there?
No, a friend of mine was a broker and I just joined with her. And we had little ones at the time, and it was just an easy brokerage to work with together.
Got it. Sure.
And as far as KW? Yeah, I think as I was getting my license, I was kind of doing research on it, and I mean, KW was really the only office I even went to, and I had a conversation with them. And it just seemed to be a fit. I liked that KW offered a lot of education, especially for new agents, just to kind of hold our hands in that process.
And we really loved Kevin.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
Yeah, Kevin, felt really great about him. And so, that's where we've been. And I think, and maybe this parlays into other questions, but that's been a great office for us, just especially because we are mountain agents. And so mountain properties are such different animals, and that we really felt like we needed somebody in our court that really who had a lot of experience of dealing with that. So when we do run across these one-offs, that we have somebody to go to that's like, yep, I've experienced that before, to be able to keep us in check.
So for those who don't know what you mean when you say mountain properties are different, what do you mean by that? How are they different?
Well, I mean, there are wells, there are septics, there may a lot more situations where easements could be issues. Sometimes you're dealing with, their larger acreage. I've had situations where, a neighbor ended up putting a fence on their property. Well, when you live in, let's say Highlands Ranch, well, your fence is your neighbor's fence.
Right.
It's really easy to see where the line is between your property and theirs. When you're sitting on 7 acres, and a neighbor ends up putting a fence in, well, if they didn't go do their proper survey work, well, that could actually be on your property and have an encroachment. So there's just how do you deal with all these situations? Or septic systems go bad. How do we deal with that? I've got a property under contract right now that the septic system is being replaced on.
Yeah.
So unless you understand that stuff, you're going to be lost.
And when you do inspections on a mountain home, it's a totally different experience than you do on a home that's newer and it's the same floor plan a few, doors down. And so most of these homes have been custom built,
Right.
usually by the owner sometimes. And so you just have to navigate that and know really good vendors in your area. Most of the time a vendor will come to that property like, oh, I've been in this house before. And so having a mountain agent, we have those connections so that the buyer feels very vetted, understands their house before they purchase it. We had a situation happen where we're on a mountain, right? Like we're on mountains, we're not on a grid. So, property lines are all over the place. So when you're dealing with the county, you have to know the neighborhoods in this area to be able to have educated conversations with them and that you can have, you're not trying to explain to them anything our county understands, but then you do have to sometimes help them understand, like, this is not an alley, it's an actual street. And even though it was plotted that way, this is an actual street that people drive down every day. And the house is not in the middle of the street. It's actually, so it's having to, have that education and that knowledge of actually living here and understanding the mountain area.
And even insurance can be another thing. Insurance can be a challenge in the foothills, and knowing how to get that done. I think experienced agents in this marketplace understand. It's hard for us. I can't imagine if somebody else that's not been near this market, how they would even do it.
Sure. Absolutely. Share with us the successes you guys have had. I mean, now, you've been in the business, Claudine since 2004 and Shad since 2008. You all made it through that first major recession and into the boom that we've been experiencing up until just recently. What does your business look like today?
Like as in like transactions and
like what are you selling and who's on your team besides you guys, if anyone?
So our sales this year, we'll do about 30 transactions, and about 30 million is what we'll close on. Last year we did 35 transactions and 35 million. We've got a variety of different people on our team in different capacities. So we've got a transaction coordinator.
Yep.
We actually kind of have like two. I've got somebody who really helps to deal with a lot of the minutia in the transaction for me. And then we have kind of like a marketing coordinator that is helping us on the back end to just help to organize and manage all of the marketing channels that we have.
Got it.
And our average price point is somewhere between 900 to $1 million up here. So that's how we kind of average that.
Yeah. Got it. Sure. So, you guys recently spoke at our Colorado convention about your social media game. What are you guys doing in social media that has been working for you?
Well, we are very much pivoters. And so we always look for the whole, what someone's not doing. We are the youngest, like I'm the youngest of 6 kids, Shad's the youngest. And so we kind of always are looking for that something different, something that someone's not doing. And it seems to have worked out for us pretty well. Shad has a genius mind in marketing. He just like in the middle of the night, he's like, I got this idea. And, there's like 10 ideas a day, when it comes to marketing, he looks at things from the back, and he's just an incredibly creative person. And that's why we have a marketing person on board with us, because she basically catches them, organizes them, and says, okay, where are we going with this? And then just kind of helps us sort it out. But being the youngest of 6 myself, I've never been afraid of being in front of a camera, talking, I don't know. I can talk. I'm quick on my feet. And also I love to write. And so it kind of is a great combination. I'm a people person. I'm actually an extroverted introvert. So I can extrovert pretty hard, but I have to introvert pretty hard after that. And so I just found that Instagram was something that really agreed with my personality. I love connecting with people on that platform. Lots of questions we have. I'm able to engage with them. People follow us because we live in such a beautiful area. So I really talk a lot about that. I show a lot about that. I had somebody stop me at the grocery store. She's like, "I'm not in the market to buy, but I love what you post. I love the elk. I love the lake. I love your hikes. I love this and that." And so
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to be able to give back to my community too. I get a lot of questions just from my community, just like how's the holiday walk? Is it worth it for this age group? So it's almost like becoming the mayor of our town, being able
Right.
just to represent and have it be a trusted voice. So I focus a lot on Instagram. We sold most of our closings this year were referrals, but the second was Instagram alone.
Yeah.
Last year was referrals, but the second place was YouTube, and that's Shad's baby. He really focuses on YouTube.
Yeah. How does the YouTube game differ from the Instagram game? I mean, for those who are like, they're not in social media at all, why would one choose the Instagram platform versus the YouTube platform?
They're completely different demographics.
Yeah.
YouTube skews heavy male who are doing research, who are looking for answers. And I think that Instagram skews heavy female who are looking for connection and the story.
Yeah.
They want to know what it's like to live here. And so they want to have a friend that lives here already and can answer those questions and is available. And so I become that. And then Shad gets the calls off of YouTube with what kind of vehicle should I purchase and what are the
Right.
tires? It's more of that.
Is there an age difference between an Instagram user and a YouTube user?
My age group right now is heavy 30s to 60s.
Uh-huh.
So it's pretty wide, but it's strong. Especially since our price point is high, that's usually the demographic that comes to Evergreen in the Foothills area.
Yeah.
35 to 65 is typically what our core demographic buyer is.
In general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I can see how it would be different down the hill. Like I could see
Uh-huh.
how, if you're having a first time home buyer that's in the 500-600 range, I could see how we would educate more on what is your down payment and how to save up for that and that type of thing. And we don't
Yeah.
do that kind. It's more lifestyle. People definitely move here for a lifestyle.
Yeah. I love that. KW, over a year ago, we added a purpose statement to the company, and we said that we are the company where entrepreneurs thrive. How did you guys react to that addition to our mission?
I mean, I like it. I think like the premise behind us, like being with KW is that, and again, I think Kevin, our employing broker, is a big part of this, is just he helps us with the compliance end of things and just keeping us up to date with, what we need to know to be able to be current in the marketplace. And so there's just a lot of minutia there that they're taking care of that we don't have to deal with. And that allows us to work in our genius and be marketers and just be entrepreneurs and do what we do best.
And we've been entrepreneurs our whole life. Like Shad and I met when I was 16 and he was 17. He's always had a business on, some sort of business. I think you've only been employed by once in your life. He's always been an entrepreneur. And I had a job. I was a dietitian for 20 years before I stepped into, I was in real estate and dietetics at the same time for a little while. And just in the Thrive area, we really are, we deal with, we focus on certain pillars of our life, whether it's financial, health, spiritual, work. And so we really try to focus on all of those so that the whole can be that thrive. You need all of them. You need to meet all of them to be able to move forward in a business. And if you don't have health, you don't have wealth, and so we just want to make sure that we are, literally our gym is just right here on the side of our office, and
Right.
So we focus on that. And it was just, it was pleasant. It's what we already believe in. And it was just nice to work with a company that actually reflects our mission statement as well.
Sure. Absolutely. What do you guys, what would you consider your secret sauce in real estate to be? What do you guys do better than anyone else?
I think Claudine's a great connector.
I think there are a lot of great realtors that are great connectors.
Well,
like I look at connectors all the time going, "Ooh, that was good." You know, like I'm always learning from, but on social media, I think.
So if I had one word, I would say it's leverage. So we utilize social media and the internet, digital channels to be able to communicate to our audience. So like for right now, literally while we're on this call with you, there are people on our websites. There are people that are watching our social media that are on YouTube.
Right.
And that's leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if all you're doing is maybe you're a great connector, you're a great networker, you can really only talk to one human at a time. You can only pick up one phone at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So we really work off of, we're going to focus on leverage. And because really real estate's about how many conversations can you have?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
The more conversations that you can have, the more connections you're going to make and the more sales you're going to make. So it's a funnel.
And that makes so much sense to us, right? Because that's how we think. So there are people that are like, "Oh, I hate getting in front of the camera. I hate doing video. I sound so silly." It's like, then that's not your thing, you know? So you gotta, like, if you're gonna pick up the phone and like, land title, she's so good at picking up the phone and just having Laura. She just has these great conversations with me. And I'm like, "Laura, you know, it's really hard for me to be on the phone with you and have this conversation." You know, we just laugh, but it's just the fact that she said she would pick up a phone all day long and make that personal connection. I was just listening to a podcast this morning and they were talking about how if you make that person feel seen, they're yours for life. And so that's what I try to do when I'm on social media is how am I connecting with my audience? Not just for sales. I truly crave connection with my community. I truly love being at Muddy Buck and somebody comes up and says, "Hey, you know, I watch you and it's so great. Thank you." And I'm like, "Sit with me. Like, what's your name?" Like, I don't, you know, I'm not that type of person that's like, you know, "Oh, thanks. Anyways, bye." You know, it's very much, it means a lot to me to have connection with my community because you're stronger as a community. You just never know what's going to happen in this world. So when he says like, it just makes sense, you know, it's like leverage. Our motto is like leads, listing or leads, leverage and list, no, leverage, leads and listing. And so we are just now seeing that the listing aspect, because we were buyer heavy and because that was the niche that we saw as a whole. People weren't marketing to buyers. And so now we are having repeat business, we're having referrals. And so that listing aspect is starting to multiply as, you know, predicted. And so we just focused on built fences around our systems and really focused on those things, made those things work, and then moved on to the next thing. I think one of the problems that some agents do is they try to do everything all at once and it's little energy to everything. We doubled down on YouTube, we doubled down on Instagram, and it's paying off right now, but you never know, you know, algorithms change.
I was in a meeting yesterday with our CEO at KW, Mark Willis, and he said for 2024, we need to hyper focus. Like we need to take the things that have been working for us as a company of 160 plus thousand people, and we need to double down on what's working and not follow after the shiny objects, which can distract so much. And I think it's great advice for all agents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been in the business a while, you can see your patterns. You can see where and if you're tracking like we do, you can see where your leads are coming from. And so then you can see what's working and not working. And this year was really surprising what our numbers were and where we were getting our leads. We're like, oh, we thought it was this, you know, so I'm glad we track to be able to see what we can hyper focus on.
Absolutely. Great. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience? Anything else that any questions I haven't asked that you want answered?
You know, I think one thing maybe we left out as far as the secret sauce. I think like with Claudine with social media, she's incredibly consistent. Mm-hmm. She's always thinking, always researching. She makes sure that like every day that she is there for her audience. And so that's a big responsibility, but it works. Mm-hmm. It definitely it pays off.
Consistency is key in anything in life. And if you stick with something that you enjoy, you know, like if Shad said, you know what, we got to focus on YouTube and you're going to be the one and you're going to focus on that. And I'd be like, no, I would hate it. And I would never follow through. I'm just not a long form video, I sound very, hello viewers, how's, I just get icky. And so I just don't want to show up inauthentic. So
Sure.
our advice would be consistent with what comes natural to you, like what you will know that you will pick up every day and that you will implement, and be willing to not be great at it at first, and be willing to just keep going with something. And then also keep going when you want to stop. Sometimes, like for a couple of years in December's, we were like, one year Shad's like, I'm done. I'm out. That was a lot. I'm done with real estate. We're going to go this direction. And then I'm like, how about I just pick it up for a while? And then last year I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Like, it was the biggest year we had, and it was a lot. And this year we finally were like those, what pillars do we need to put in our life to be able to take care of ourselves throughout the year, and not take things so seriously, and just have more fun. And so, yeah, all those fun things.
When you all find yourself not wanting to do something that you need to do, because consistency compounds, what do you do to push yourself, to doing it?
I try to do it in the morning because I haven't talked myself out of it, whether it's I got to get these reels created, or I need to get these emails out, I need to work out, like whatever it is. The morning time is my sweet spot sauce, where I can't talk myself out of it. Accountability, our marketing, our ops boss is what we call her. She's great in accountability. She has this like coaching spirit within her that really like we surround ourselves with people that hold us accountable for things that we know that are going to be hard to finish. Yeah. Shad's a very structured human, and he finishes well. So I don't know what motivates you. Like, you start a project and you finish. Like, you're amazing.
Yeah. I don't know that I struggle with motivation.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can say, like, as I've gotten deeper into my career, it's harder because now there are deals that, which that was the objective all along, was to get the leads and to get the customers and get them under contract. Yeah. And so just struggling with juggling, how do I keep all my marketing going and give that attention while I'm managing deals. So that's kind of something that we're struggling with. And that's part of why we're bringing more people on our team. We're not looking to grow from an agent perspective, but from a back office support type of perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if someone around the country is listening to this, what's the perfect referral for you guys? Where and the perfect client to send your way?
Oh gosh.
Well, our core focus is the Denver foothills, or West Denver. So anybody who's looking to move, Evergreen, Morrison, Golden, Genesee,
we have Boulder,
Conifer,
we have some Boulder. We have a really beautiful listing right now. It's 10 million. It's 162 acres. Little plug for that one. It's a gorgeous ranch. So yeah, and I got that lead off of Instagram. So it does pay off. What did you say?
Is it in the Boulder area?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
162 acres and 10 million, you said?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's fabulous.
It has the views of the Flatirons, and it's a legacy property, original owners. Yeah, it's a gem. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being on Where Entrepreneurs Thrive. We appreciate you guys, and we thank you for sharing your strategies with us.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Russ.
Take care. Bye-bye.